Hi everyone! Well, the heat wave has come and gone, and unfortunately there has been some damage to the garden. So maybe you're in this place too, and my question to you is, what are you going to do and how are you going to help your garden recover? Well, today we're going to cover 5 ways that you can help your garden recover from a heat wave. So if this is you, stick around, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell icon so you get notified of all of our videos. We've got a lot to cover today. This is going to be quick, so let's jump right in. The first way to help your garden recover from a heat wave is to prune any damage. You want to prune off anything that's been damaged or singed by the heat, like these leaves here. Any pest damage you want to take off. We've got a ton of spider mite damage. Anything that looks like it might be diseased or just not doing well, you want to take it off. It's not doing any good to your plant. You want all the energy to go into helping your plant recover from the stress it's been under during the heat wave. So here we've got a tomato that's actually been eaten, it looks like, by some kind of worm. We're definitely actually just going to cut that whole leaf off because we've got some spider mite damage here as well. So we're going to snip it off and toss it into the green bin. We're not going to put that in the compost pile because we don't want any of these pest or heat damaged leaves going to the compost and possibly infecting the rest of the garden. So I know sometimes it's really hard to take off your plants, your leaves from your plants, but it's definitely worth it and will help your garden recover. And you really want to be ruthless about this because you don't want pests or disease spreading to the rest of your plants. Even leaves that look like they're yellowing like this, go ahead and take them off because they're not doing your plant any good. An added advantage to taking damaged leaves off your tomato plant is it gives additional airflow, which does help prevent disease as well. You can see these leaves here are curling. You don't need to take off curling leaves unless they also have disease or pest damage. That's just a natural response to the heat, and a lot of times it will correct itself as the heat wave calms down. I've got one more pretty badly damaged tomato here. I think some hornworms got in, or some kind of worm got in. This is my Herzegovina tomato, so I'm hoping to get some more tomatoes off this before the cooler weather hits. Eesh. So this here is a Cherokee purple tomato that did sustain a lot of heat damage. See how these leaves are really crispy and singed? So we're taking off all those leaves from this plant, but we still do have a lot of green on this plant. So I think it's going to recover just fine. Get this dead stuff off and get it on the path to recovery. Yeesh. That's not looking good. Actually feels good to get all this old stuff off. It's going to bring some new life back to the plant. Second thing to help your plants recover from a heat wave is to give it some first aid. We definitely had some pest issues here. So I'm applying my organic pest control. I've got some neem oil, peppermint oil, rosemary oil, and my pump sprayer here. You can watch that video for all the details. So we're spraying it down, which will help the chewing and sucking insects and all the pests stay away. One thing that's super important whenever you're spraying anything on your plants is do it early in the morning before the sun comes out. Don't spray in bright sunlight, and always, always do a test spray first. Spray a couple of leaves, wait 24 to 48 hours. If there's no damage, then spray down the entire plant. You can get all the details in the video on organic pest control. So make sure you go back and watch it. The third thing to help your garden recover from a heat wave is to feed your plants. We've just finished a pretty heavy pruning, and we need to feed our plants so that they regrow and can start producing veggies again. So I'm going to put some compost around the base of my plants here. I put about an inch or so. Now compost you can make right in your own backyard. I know a lot of you have started making compost this season. It's a great way to feed your plants for free. You can make it in a large container, you can make it in a small container. So go back and watch all those videos for exactly how to do it. So I'm just spreading an inch or so around my plants, gives that extra boost that it needs to start regrowing. Addition to compost at the base of my plants, I'm also going to give it a water-soluble, higher nitrogen fertilizer, which will help really grow those leaves back. I mean, it looks pretty severe here how we pruned, and we definitely want that new leafy growth, and that's what the Good Dirt plant food will do, which is higher in nitrogen. Now, I'm also going to add some Vermistera worm tea. I've used this stuff in my garden for several years now, and it is just amazing what a boost it gives to your plants. Really helps that regrowth process and really helps the plants be healthy again, since they do have a lot of pest and disease damage and heat damage. So we're going to add that to my watering can, and we're just going to water it at the base of the plants here, which will also really help the compost soak down into the roots of the plant and get this plant growing again, take it across the finish line, and get me some good ripe tomatoes to finish off the season. Going to water this container until the water runs out the bottom. Get those roots good and soaked. The fourth thing to do to help your garden recover from a heat wave is to cut your losses. This is the hard part, you guys. Sometimes plants are not going to recover, and these plants took a lot of damage from the heat. The spider mites took over. This is an eggplant here, you guys, and we've got to pull it out and just completely start over. So I'm going to snip it. And one thing you want to look for when you're deciding whether or not to pull out a plant is, first of all, its appearance. Now you can tell this plant is not looking good. Look at all the heat damage here. Look at the spider mite damage. So appearance is number one. The second thing you want to look for is it producing? Now this plant is definitely not producing anything. So sometimes it's just easier to start over with a brand new plant, cut your losses, and move on. Now here we have a Herzegovak tomato, and the same thing. Lots of heat damage, lots of spider mite damage. In fact, spider mites are pretty much covering the whole entire plant. We've got some webs here, and once that happens, the plant is just not going to recover. So we're going to snip it out and start over with something brand new. I know, hard to do, but you just got to do it, and it's going to feel good to get the old plants out. And step number 5, I'm going to tell you what to do next here. Same thing here with this eggplant. If we pruned everything, we'd have to prune the entire plant. So rather than doing that, we are just going to take it out. Spider mites and heat, these plants are a complete loss. The 5th step to help your garden recover from a heat wave is to replant. Now this is the fun part, and it's going to help you feel a lot better about pulling some plants out, and that way you're going to have some fresh new veggies on the way. So I'm going to add some compost here to my garden bed. Just work it into the soil. It's going to feel good to get your hands in the soil too, and to get outdoors again after the heat. So a couple handfuls of compost around the area where I'm going to replant will help revive it, give it some new life. And we're just going to make it quick and simple and pop some seeds in here. Now, if you live in an area where it's still warm, you can grab my late summer garden seed collection. Here we're going to plant some Space Master cucumbers in this trellis. They go from seed to harvest in about 6 to 8 weeks, and it's going to feel so good knowing I have some fresh new plants growing. And we're starting over with brand new plants and get the old diseased ones out. I'm going to plant them here right along the drip irrigation hose. And by now you guys have seen me do this so many times, and you're getting to be experts here at the end of the season. We're going to drop in a seed every couple of inches or so, and it's a perfect spot. We'll just use this trellis, and the cucumbers will just climb up, and we'll get ourselves some nice fall cucumbers. Next quick growing veggie we're going to plant are old-fashioned mustard greens. These are from the Fall Garden Seed Collection, and I am running a sale 15% off for the next week of all of my seed collections, my CaliKim Smart Pots and my book seed bundles. And the old-fashioned mustard greens are from the Fall Garden Seed Collection. The great thing about mustard greens is they grow very fast. They will take heat, and they will also take the cold. So no matter what climate you're growing in, mustard greens are a great crop to grow. Just sprinkling in the seeds. I'm going to very lightly cover them up with another handful of compost. And that 15% off is with the code FALL at CaliKimGardenandHome.com. And that sale runs till Sunday, September 20th. Now on this side, we're gonna plant another fast growing vegetable. We're gonna plant some Royal Burgundy bush beans from my bean seed collection. These go from seed to harvest in about 6 to 8 weeks. So you're gonna feel so good knowing that you're getting some brand new veggies growing. And these are a warm weather vegetable. So if you've got 6 to 8 weeks of warm weather left, pop some beans in and get yourself a harvest before cold weather hits in your area. So I know it's hard to take those old plants out, but you know, guys, it's the circle of life. It's just part of being in the garden. Expect the challenges, they're gonna come. Plant some new veggies, you'll be feeling better and getting yourself some brand new fresh veggies in no time. Heat wave damage is just part of the process of growing vegetables. Now that you know what to do, leave me a comment, let me know what you're gonna do and when you're gonna do it. Look forward to reading your comments. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next video.